First of all, just to appreciate our MC, Maureen Kalimaunga, and the elections department was led by a very short man. But you know, dynamites come in small packages. Honorable Advocate Mafume is deputized by Ellen Shiedenga. Thank you very much for the good work and for what you've done. We appreciate the amount of work that you've put into this. I'm sure I'm better off without this thing. Technology is always an inconvenience. Let me appreciate and acknowledge our Vice President, Honorable Biti, here present, our Senior Leadership Secretary General Charlton Wende, our Deputy Secretary General Chinanzoana, members of the Standing Committee, colleagues from the National Executive, our members of Parliament, that is the House of Assembly and Senate. I also see our councillors who have graced this occasion. Sure, the Mayor in absentia and the entire team from our council. I wish to also acknowledge our members of the diplomatic corps who are here present. We appreciate your presence and thank you for coming, both from the capitals in Europe, Americas, the Asiatics, Australasia, and of course those from the African continent. We are here today to launch a very important document, a document that has already been addressed to you, a document that gives us a framework and a context of what we are going to be emphasizing as a party. This document is not being plucked from nowhere. It has a context. That context is wide consultation with a lot of our grassroots structures across the provinces of our country. So it is a grassroots-driven document, a people-driven document, which is people-centered and people-focused, people-based, and people-backed. This document is not a theoretical or an intellectual document that has just been produced by individuals in some offices. These are the aspirations of Zimbabweans in terms of what they want to see in free and fair elections in Zimbabwe. This document has a context too. We used, in terms of its raw material, the International Observer Mission reports from the European Union, from the NDI, the RI, in the context of the US-based observer missions, from the Commonwealth, and also from the African Union and SADC. So this document is populated by recommendations that are not novel, but things that have always been emphasized by other internationally acclaimed institutions that have competence in passing a verdict on the freeness and credibility of elections. This document is also informed by SADC principles on free and fair elections, the guidelines that we would want to see for free and fair elections in Zimbabwe. We are also mindful of the fact that this is not the first time we have produced this document as MDC. We always believe in being the alternative. As you know, historically, we have always had documents that were put on the table so that we are able to then have an osmosis of ideas. We believe that nation building is not a solo effort. We believe that in nation building, nobody has the monopoly of all the bricks and all the wisdom. In nation building, each brick is important, and we do not have all the bricks, but this brick, we feel that this is the cornerstone and this is the foundational stone in order for us to cure the ailments and deficits that have affected our country historically. You're also aware that contextually, within SADC, we've seen an increase and rise in disputed elections. We've also seen an increase and rise in the propensity to want to have elections just as a ritual, but elections being cooked, manufactured, manipulated. In some cases, people use V11s, manipulating them. In other circumstances, they use TPEX for those who are less advanced. But for those who are more advanced, they always use other, Excel spreadsheets to try and manipulate and even run away from the verdict of the people. And in those cases, we've also seen that the courts have also been abused by those in authority to rubber stamp rigged, manipulated, and stolen elections, which has been a dominant, the situation within our region. But we have been fortified by the situation within our region in Malawi, but of course on the continent, in Kenya, where we have seen that the courts have played a pivotal role in being the guardians of justice and the guarantors of the rights of the people, particularly once the people have passed their verdict, have also voted, and they've heard their voice, which has to be respected. So this is the context. We have come to this document within the context of all these other efforts. As you know, we've done almost 5 or so documents since 2000. The first one was Restore. Our Restore document was, if we are to restore our country in terms of democracy and legitimacy, we need to do the following. It was ignored. We came up with René, which was basically no election, no reforms document. It was ignored. We came up with consents, conditions for sustainable elections in Zimbabwe. Again, that document was ignored. We then did, just before the elections, we did a document, which was a summary of the conditions we would want to see for a credible elections. And we've foreseen this, that we would have a disputed election. And once we have a disputed election, we would not then be able to marshal the entire nation in confidence and in trust to move forward to resolve our challenges. So we came up with Peace, which was a plan for a credible election in Zimbabwe. Peace was disregarded, ignored by my brother, Emerson. And of course, we went into an election. They did what they did through the Excel Gate scandal. And right now, the nation has no confidence in the direction that they're trying to take and fashion. That tells you that we've had, historically, an attempt to try and find a peaceful solution to the problems in Zimbabwe. But they've mistaken our propensity and affinity for peace for a weakness. They think that when we call for peace, it's because we have no other instruments to be able to produce conditions that will induce delivery and passage or birth of a new Zimbabwe. We do have, but we do know that on the African continent, we've paid dearly and heavily wherever we've had anarchy, chaos. In any event, those of us who are in the alternative have nothing to lose because we do not own property, we do not own any building, we have no farms, we have no mines, they have everything. So if there is to be instability, they are the first customers when it comes to their losses. And we'll be able to then sympathize with them, but they must know that we are not doing this because we are foolish. We are doing this because we know that the price to be paid by any nation for anarchy and chaos is so unbearable for the citizens. We saw it in Angola, we saw it in Sudan, we saw it in Somalia, we saw it in DRC. We do not want that path for our country, but we'll be forced very soon to then focus on that. Let me emphasize that these principles for a reliable and inclusive, credible election in Zimbabwe, PRIZE, is an acronym that is consciously chosen. We know that there is a price to be paid, but that price is only predicated upon doing certain fundamentals. And we've said that in order for us to be able to go the way of a credible election, let us adopt those 20 principles. We are also conscious of the fact that those of us in politics on the other side in ZANU-PF have emphasized that they want to have a cabinet committee that will focus on reforms. But we are saying, you know, you can't have national solutions on the basis of a partisan platform. If you want a national solution to be instituted, to come about, there has to be a common platform. This is why we have said Pollard is a non-starter, because it's unilateral, it's partisan, it's coming from an individual. An individual who does not have the mandate of the people, would want a proper platform for the resolution of our issues. So the Cabinet Committee on Reform is also a waste of time because it will not address the issues that are supposed to be addressed. Our alternative is for us to have a multi-stakeholder platform outside the cabinet, but all the political players, civic society, to then come up with their own document. I know ZESI, they've already done their model. I know that our colleagues in ERC, Elections Resource Center, are also working on their own document. We are saying this is our own document. We do not claim to have the monopoly of all the ideas, but we are saying that this is our big idea. And let that big idea be part of the ideas that are going to constitute the comprehensive solution to our problems in Zimbabwe. So yes, we do know that there are issues that are being implemented, but this is our humble suggestion on the way forward. We are also aware of the fact that, you know, we've had cycles of disputed elections since 1980. Even Zoom had problems, ZAP had problems, Forum had problems, Zud under my sister Margaret Longo had problems. We have had problems with these guys, just like Jabaningi's United Parties, and then I think the new name. They had problems historically. So the issue of disputed elections has always been perennial in this country. And it has been the source of instability in this country. So we have had a reproduction of an illegitimate regime since 1980. ZANU-PF is not the People's Party. It is the part that is produced out of manipulation of systems that have been instituted for that purpose. So we also are aware that as we go into the launch of this document, we have to understand that we are settled with a disputed 2018 election. Some have said, please, let's focus on 23. We will not focus on what is not there. We do not want to go to 2023 until we have resolved our past gaps, our past elections. That has not been resolved. It is foolhardy to think that a disputed and democratic rigged election in 2023 will be the solution to Zimbabwe's problems. Zimbabwe's problems cannot be resolved by an election in 2030, in 2050, which is disputed, which is not based on credible conditions. That's why we are saying, if we are able to resolve these issues, the better, so that we are not going to reproduce our misery going forward. People have always had premature excitement on account of processes that are then terminated once the election then comes. So we need to be able to deal with this so that we are robust in resolving our 2018 dispute as a way of paving way for any future elections and the credibility of those elections. So we will not proceed to respect the delimitation process until we have resolved the issue of the independence of ZEC. A non-independent ZEC can't resolve delimitation. You can't say, let's go and focus on delimitation now. We are simply going to institutionalize and legislate gerrymandering. And you know, gerrymandering is from Governor Gary. Some say Governor Jerry from the United States of America, who was in the habit of redrawing the boundaries of the electoral constituency or district. Once he realized that he's no longer popular on that other corner, he will make sure that he avoids that corner. He goes to the fresh ones who do not know him. What you were dramatizing. So we don't want a gerrymandering exercise disguised as delimitation. And this is why they are trying to run away from a consensus around a process that is driven by conditions for free and fair elections. And they are running away from a scientific process. That's why they don't want the census to be linked to the issue of delimitation. Because they want to do everything under the cover of darkness on the basis of conjecture and guesswork. And that is what we are trying to avoid. There is no Electoral Act regime and regulations to govern delimitation as we speak. And that presents problems going forward. On what basis and how is that delimitation going to be done? What are the fundamental indicators? What are the indices and the factors that are being factored into it? There is no clarity on that. So we want this issue to be sorted out. We are not introducing new things. All the conditions we have put in here are ably captured within the spirit of the Constitution. Section 155, Section 156, on the conditions, character of elections that are supposed to be held around free and fair elections. Even Section 67 on political rights. So we are very clear on what we are putting before the nation. We are putting it on the table because we know that if we are to have any processes to do with the elections in Zimbabwe, they have to be undertaken on the basis of agreed reform. And they must be underscored to say if we don't have these reforms, there will be no election. Some have said, MDC is saying they are not going to participate in the election. We can't boycott national processes in ourselves. But any election process that does not respect conditions for free and fair is not national and cannot be an election. But we'll make sure that there is no election which is not an election. We are sick and tired of rituals. We are sick and tired of just fixing ourselves on a calendar which does not produce real outcomes for the people of Zimbabwe. So that is the context. That is the context within which we have brought this framework on how to have elections conducted in Zimbabwe. So yes, we have offered a 5-step solution to the resolution of the crisis in Zimbabwe. And we have said this to Mr. Mnangagwa. This is a modest plan to resolve problems in this country. Number one, let's have a shared understanding on the crisis we have in this country. Our colleagues in ZANU-PF are saying the crisis in Zimbabwe is a crisis of the economy. The economy is a manifestation of a deeper crisis. The crisis in Zimbabwe is a governance crisis. It is a political crisis. A crisis born out of disputed elections that are discredited, an illegitimate crisis. That is the source. So if you cure malaria where you're supposed to cure BP, blood pressure, you will end up with a worse sickness. And the patient is going to be worse. That's why we are where we are. We are grappling with millimilk. Not because, it has become a governance issue. Because we do not know how to solve issues that are supposed to be resolved. The political crisis must be resolved politically. And we are not under an illusion. We are the solution to our own problems. We are the answers to our own questions. We don't expect South Africans to help our issues. Because they also have their own issues. We can't expect Europe, the United States of America, to solve our issues. They have their own issues in their own domestic jurisdictions. We must do our own bit. And this is why we are saying, here are the ideas. If you don't want to listen to ideas, we'll have to cause peace and pressure upon you so that you see the wisdom of listening to ideas. That is what we've done. They will try all sorts of tactics, arrests, whatever. We don't care. Until the issues in Zimbabwe are resolved, we want to make sure that we all come together to resolve the issues that we have to resolve. The nature of the crisis must be shared by the whole country. And in order for us to share, we can't outsource the resolution of our crisis. I've heard a lot of people making a lot of value-laden judgments on President Beki, this and that. No, this is our issue. We are our own liberators. We are our own solution in the context of our elections. And we must lead ourselves out of fear, out of ignorance, out of docility, out of passivity, and make sure that our country is given a new lease of life. Our colleagues in ZANU-PF have no solution. They have no ideas other than to chant slogans. Right now they are blaming us, it's because of the MDC. You can't blame one who is not responsible. Unless if you are saying that they are the ones who are responsible. That's what it is. If I don't have a mill in my own family, I can't blame the neighbor. Unless if I know that the neighbor is the one who is the authority over my house. That's what it is. So yes, we respect their faith and confidence in us to say that you are the only ones who can give us solutions. But they must not come to us in an adversarial manner. They must come and seek wisdom. And we cause ideas to flow their direction. And we help them to resolve the issue. The second issue is the comprehensive reforms that we want to see in this country. And this is why we have brought this. This is just one element of the comprehensive reforms, the electoral bit. And we want these ideas to then formulate and form the basis of our engagement going forward. The third issue is, of course, building the nation. We've always made the point that, yes, we have a country, but we don't have a nation. A nation is about institutions, ideas, a republic, programs. That's what a nation is. A nation is not about subjects. We are just a country, and we need to make sure we become a nation by building this nation, by nationally healing. I see now in Matabeleland, they want to go there and destroy evidence of their past omissions and commissions by saying we want to have agent reburial. Why are you fast-tracking what you have delayed over the years? Let us take our time to heal the wounds and then heal from below, heal from the bottom, going up. Don't impose solutions. Parachuted solutions are not solutions. They're actually a basis of fresh wounds. And I hope that they will understand that. We cannot go into Matabeleland, try to rush processes. We need a bottom-up approach. We need truth-telling. We need accountability, restorative justice, rehabilitative justice, so that we're able to move together as a country. We've told them, they listen, would really appreciate. The fourth issue is obviously international re-engagement. But we've told them, we can't have international re-engagement until we have had national re-engagement, because one fits into the other. Let's engage nationally and have a compact story. It's what one day, wanachi manya pa Spain, wanachi manya ku Europe, and wanachi will bring a solution. Why? Because we are going to be getting this from the bundle of trust, the bundle of confidence. We have a bundle of integrity. Our colleagues do not have, because they don't live according to the. Look at the SMP. It's dead now. Why? Because they did not honor what they had promised they were going to do. They told people that Zimbabwe is open for business, but they started closing down factories. Even those who want to come and do business, their mining rights are being taken, and land is being taken. There's no law. Those in authority are the law. That can't be a country. We need the restoration of the rule of law. Proper rights. Let's have predictability, confidence. Everyone must feel secure. That's why one of our key rights is the security of persons, the security of property, the security and rights of property. Last but not least is obviously the humanitarian question, the economic issues. Dead bodies don't benefit from democracy. Yes. People have to be alive for them to enjoy democracy. Yes. A roof over your house is important when you're alive. Yes. A dollar in your pocket is only valuable if you are breathing. When you are dead, democracy is meaningless. Yes. So we need to make sure that we avert starvation. Most of the people are food insecure in the rural areas. We need that humanitarian intervention. We need the solution. Civil servants have no money. I see now there's a new tax that has been imposed. And you don't understand where they are coming from. ED and Mutuli. Which planet do you live? Which planet do you live on? You have not gone to parliament, there's no law, you are just coming. Even those who run a tax shop have the decency of consulting to say, how are we going to run this tax shop with this and What kind of leadership is this? I'm now beginning to believe Mugabe was right when he said, I don't have a successor.
He was right.
He was right. We used to think that he was lying until we have seen his successor. We now know that he was right. But of course, we told President Mugabe that you have succeeded yourself successively, over and over. There is a problem.
Yeah.
There is no success without a successor.
Yeah.
You must have first won the battle.
Yeah, true.
Here we are. The humanitarian issue has to be dealt with, and this is why, in this context, we are happy and proud to say to Zimbabwe, this is our modest solution to a credible election. The principles for a reliable and inclusive, credible election in Zimbabwe, the principles that we believe are going to solve the issues. Let us now formally launch. Let's represent community, let's show them. Yes. This is the document. We now officially launch PRIZE, the principles for a reliable and inclusive, credible election in Zimbabwe. We dedicate this document to all the Zimbabweans, dead and alive, those who died for democracy. They want to see this happening. But as we do so, we also dedicate this document to our God, the living God, who is in it, in everything that we are going to do. Thank you very much.